Students, welcome to the new class. This is Dr. Sanjana Sharma from the Department of English. As you know, we are doing the essay on the pleasures of no longer being very young by G.K. Chesterton. Today we will continue this essay. Now open your book on page number 94, and as you know, we are in the mid of paragraph number 2. In our last class, we ended at the point when Chesterton mentions the economic depression that America and so many wealthy, prosperous countries had to go through in the early 30s and late 20s. And this made many rich, wealthy countries poor. Their businessmen, the rich people, they lost their wealth due to this economic depression. For who the situations were still favorable? Situations were favorable for those countries who were still following the pattern of agriculture. So many countries were still there who were dependent mostly on agriculture field for their progress, and several other had opted for industrialization. So what was the outcome of that economic depression? Due to that economic depressions, so many industrialists, so many rich people, the progress, the prosperity that they had earned, it came to a standstill. But on the other hand, the countries that were still involved mostly in agriculture, they made progress slowly but steadily. But neither certainly did the young, the progressive, the prosperous, or the adventurous expect it. None of those progressive, wealthy, rich people ever thought or ever prophesied this thing that such situation might come in the future, but it did come. Yet all history and culture is stiff with proverbs and prophecies telling them to expect it. But even at that time, these prophecies were there. These concepts were there, and people were there who knew that the cycle of history might be repeated. Such things might happen. But progressive, prosperous people, especially the young ones, the youthful people, they never expected it to happen in their lifetime. The trouble is that they thought the proverbs and history a great deal too stiff. So they thought that all this is a part of history. It's a bygone thing. Such things can't happen to us because we are open minded, because we are progressive, because our thought process is different with the thought process of those people of 100 years ago. Again and again, with monstrous reiteration, both my young friends and myself had been told from childhood that fortune is fickle, that riches take to themselves wings and fly, that power can depart suddenly from the powerful, that pride goes before a fall, and insolence attracts the thunderbolts of God. Author remembers from his childhood that he and many of his friends were again and again repetitively they were told by their elders, by their family members, so many things that are still pertinent today. And what were those things, those warnings? They were warned by their family members, their elders. What were those warnings? The first thing that they were told was that fortune is fickle. riches, they never stay for a long period with anyone. In Hindi, we have a saying. What is this saying? That Lakshmi is Chanchala. The goddess of money, Lakshmi, she may not stay long at one place. She might move from that place. A person might become poor with the passage of time. So the same thing author and his friends were told in their childhood, that one may become poor after a passage of time and lose one's wealth and riches. What was the next thing? That pride goes before a fall. That if someone is full of sense of pride, that yes, I am powerful, I am rich, I am at the helm of affair, then his fall might be coming soon. That power can depart suddenly from the powerful. And those who are in power today, they might lose their power. They may be banished from power. They may no longer be at the helm of affairs. And insolence attracts the thunderbolt of the gods. And that if you are insolent, if you are rude, if you are full of disrespect towards someone, then it is sure that you will be punished by God. But it was all unmeaning to us, and all the proverbs seemed stiff and stale, like the dusty labels on neglected antiquities. But at that time, author says that we and my friends, we found these things meaningless. We found them like old labels that were outdated. And we always thought that these things are part of history. These things happened at a particular period of time, and they may not happen to us because we are educated, we are more educated, we are progressive, we have a scientific bent of mind, so such things will never happen to us. We had heard of the fall of Woolsey, which was like the crash of huge palace, still faintly rumbling through the ages. We had heard of it in the words of Shakespeare, which possibly were not written by Shakespeare. We had learned them and learned nothing from them. So, who was Woolsey? His full name is Cardinal Wolsey, and he was the Lord Chancellor of England during the reign of Henry VIII. Though he was born in a very low class family, he gained highest offices but had also a sudden and staggering downfall. So, a person who was born in a very poor family and who became the Lord Chancellor of Britain during the reign of King Henry VIII, he attained the highest offices, but again he had to face a downfall. So, Wolsey is an example that if one can rise in one's life, one can attain power, then the downfall might be there in future. So, and he says that Shakespeare has recorded Wolsey in his plays. Which was this play? This play was entitled Henry VIII. We had read of it in words of Shakespeare, which possibly were not written by Shakespeare. We had learned them and learned nothing from them. Chesterton says that perhaps Henry VIII, some of its part were written by Fletcher and some other dramatists. Shakespeare has mentioned Woolsey in his drama. We have read this drama. We have read this drama so many times. And we know about the predicament of Woolsey. Even then, we people, we never learn anything from such examples. We had read 10,000 times to the point of tedium of the difference between the Napoleon of Marengo and Napoleon of Moscow. But we should never have expected Moscow if we had been looking at Marengo. So all of you know about Napoleon. He was a French warrior and his time period is 1769 to 1821. He was Emperor of France. Napoleon of Marengo means Napoleon's victory in North Italy, and Napoleon of Moscow. And 12 years after the victory of Marengo, Napoleon attacked Moscow and he almost reached the city of Moscow. But due to lack of food supply and due to severe Russian winter, he had to retreat. And in this process, about 500,000 French soldiers died. So, those who had witnessed Napoleon's victory at Marengo, they could never imagine that he could be defeated or he could face a great loss in the Battle of Moscow. But it did happen. So, if one is wealthy, if one is rich, if one is powerful, if one is at the helm of affair at one moment in life, in the next moment, in the coming days, in the coming years of his life, his downfall might be there. Thank you, students, for today's class. Tomorrow we will continue this essay. Thank you very much.